just wanna make you laugh. I just wanna see that smile. Baby, we're only here for a little while. I just wanna hold you till we fall asleep. I want love, I want us, I want you, I want me, I want peace.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Morning Coffee with your host, Rick Alexander. I am all moved in Colorado, and pretty soon we will be producing this show out of our brand new studio in downtown Denver. And so bear with us. Sound quality is going to go nowhere but up. For everybody that's listened to this show over the last year, I really appreciate it. If you guys are getting value out of this and you know somebody else that might get value out of it as well, I would ask that you would share it with them. I think the best compliment that you could give to me is just a referral or a share to somebody else that you think that could benefit from this message. So today's message is something that I've talked about through many different podcasts before. And I think really today what I want to do is maybe bring it all together and just really put it black and white. So you have a story about who you are, and there's all of these contributing factors that have developed who you are now. Now, some of those are what you've been told about yourself, like you're smart or you're stupid or you're athletic or you're capable, and you've believed them. Now, a lot of the way that you've been shaped is actually through situations. It's not through things you've been told, but things you've experienced. And so when you've gone through a breakup, that has inferred something about who you are. And so you didn't have to be told because the experience inferred it. And so the problem is that when we infer something about how we are based on an experience we went through, we're only looking at it through the lens of what we have at that time. And so if you go through a breakup, for example, and you tell yourself that you could have been better, then you're going to infer that something about yourself and how you are in relationships. And that becomes a storyline about how you refer to yourself. And so let's say that you went through a relationship, you went through a bad breakup, and then you thought you could have done better. And so that you inferred to yourself that you're bad at relationships. And now that becomes what you think about yourself. The problem is that you have a very limited scope of practice. You've only been in so many relationships, and you are only learning. So perhaps you could have done better, but who knows? Maybe not. Maybe you are only operating off the information that you had at the time. Now, the problem with that is as we're inferring things about ourselves, we are reviewing and looking back constantly about situations that have already passed in order to pass judgments about ourselves and how we're going to react in current situations. But the reality is that the only thing that matters in your life is how you engage with the present. Whatever has transpired has already come to pass. And so at some point, what you need to come to the realization of and to understand is that the only thing that matters from here on out is the way that you engage with the present right now. And so when you wake up, it's a new day. And I know this is something that you might hear in some self-help advice, or it's something that might come off as like very motivational-esque, but from a very pragmatic standpoint, it is fundamentally true. And I find there to be great liberation in that fact because you can go back through all of the things that you've done. I've done it myself. I've gone back through all of these past relationships, and I've inferred opinions about myself. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to actually affect my relationships now is how I engage with the present. The message today, or the question to ask yourself might be, what information are you running back from the past that is affecting the way that you're engaging with the present? What are you telling yourself about things that have already transpired, and how is that affecting you now? Because at some point you have to recognize that no matter what has come to pass, no matter what you've done, who you've done it to, no matter how bad of a person you might think you are or incapable of a person you might think you've been in the past, the only thing that matters now is that you come up with an intention for how you want to be, and then you engage with the present in a way that reflects the intention that you have for yourself in the life that you want. And I find that to be so liberating because I've spent so much time weighed down by the past and thinking about it and trying to rethink it and trying to think about, well, what could I learn? What could I have done different? At some point, you have to recognize there are no more things to learn. There is nothing you could have done different. Maybe you could, maybe you didn't, and that's actually irrelevant. The only thing that's going to affect the quality of your life now is the way that you engage with the present. And the way that you can think about this pragmatically is if you walk up to somebody and you greet them with a warm hug and a smile, you are effectively changing the energy in the present situation that you have. Now, this is liberating because it means that every single opportunity that you have in your life is a time to change. It's an opportunity to make your life exactly what you want. So no matter what's worked out in the past, no matter what businesses you've started that haven't worked out, what relationships have gone south, what business ventures, projects, things that haven't worked, they're actually irrelevant if you allow them to be. Now, if you continue to dredge them up and bring them with you and carry them with you and allow them to be part of your identity and part of who you are going forward, then the reality is that they're going to continue to affect your present. They're going to continue to be the narrative that underpins your entire existence and your entire life. The flip side of that is, at some point, you just have to let it go. You just have to release it because it's no longer serving you. You've learned what there is to learn. You've already gone back through it. The only thing that matters is that you come up with a picture for what you want your life to be now, and that you start acting in a way that will allow that intention to manifest. And again, sounds motivational. It's also pragmatic. How do you want your day to be? Act on that. You know, if you are thinking back on this past and it's like you need to work through it still, like maybe that's therapy, maybe that's a professional, maybe that's a coach, maybe that's somebody to help guide you through it. But at some point, you just have to let it go. You just have to stop living by the past. You have to stop allowing it to dictate the quality of your life now, because you actually have full control now to make your life exactly what you want it to be. Now, if you choose not to take that control, that actually at some point just ends up being on you. And that's unfortunate. And it might sound harsh, but the reality is that we're all given the present. It's the only thing we're ever promised, right? I talk about that all the time. Like this moment, this day, this thing that we have. If you wake up tomorrow, you've been given another opportunity, another chance to make it exactly what you want. Now, you don't have to. You continue to live on the past and based on all these expectations of yourself and things that didn't work. Or you can understand that you really do technically have a clean slate and you can just start acting on what you want. When we think big picture, when we think legacy and we look back at our lives, the only thing that's going to dictate your legacy is how you act in this moment forward. You can continue to lament and to think about what hasn't gone right. If that's what you allow to dictate your thoughts and actions, then that will be your legacy. But if you decided that the past is the past, it's time for something else. It's time to be who you want to be in the world. Well, the only thing stopping you from doing that is making the decision to actually do so. Every single moment. If you blew your diet already for 2019, doesn't actually matter. You can just start right now. Don't start tomorrow, start right now. The way that we engage with right now, the present moment, not the future, not the past, that's the thing that dictates the quality of our lives. We tend to pacify ourselves because we have trouble dealing with the present. We tell ourselves we're going to start tomorrow, or we're going to start training tomorrow. We're going to start eating better tomorrow. And the reason we do that is we pacify ourselves from having to face the harsh reality of the present. But the reality is that if you just let go of what's already transpired, face the present with a completely clear and open mind, with intentions of what you want it to be, and start acting on it, that's going to change the quality of your life much more than anything else. And so I find that thought to be completely liberating, because it means that every moment is an opportunity to author the life that I want and to create the legacy that I want for myself. And I'm hoping that you find the same freedom and mobility in that thought. Anyway, I think I've gone on long enough today. I love you guys as always. I'll talk to you tomorrow on Morning Coffee.